Hello and welcome to Jam in the Print Room live on LinkedIn. I'm Andy from Cedo and I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts Jack Gocha from Ion Display, Matt Hanley from M2 and Luke Wildy from Howden. Today we're also joined by Clare Scammell from GK's Graphics and star of page 8 and 9 in Digital Printer magazine to discuss science, social media and running a business. How is everyone today?
Really good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All
Amazing.
good.
What have we all been up to since last pod? How about you, Luke?
Yeah, it's been a mad start to the year. We're working on the new signage scheme that we're bringing out, which is geared towards sign installers and vehicle wrappers. Getting all of those done. Great start.
That's my father-in-law.
Hello, Daddy.
Oh dear.
What's fun?
Yeah, it's just been a mad start. Like very much like this pod, really.
How about you, Matt?
Is that Matt or Jack?
Jack or Matt?
Me. Oh, well, it's been a... Well, I'm going to go anyway. It's been a pretty manic start. Like you guys, I'm going to be at Sign and Digital for the whole show, every minute of the thing, which is going to be fun. But it's the start of a pretty busy year of shows this year. I've just had confirmation of FESPA's going to be a full visit to there as well. So all very exciting.
Fantastic.
Nice.
How about you, Matt?
We've got a new member of staff.
Woo!
Hey.
Pretty quick. So yeah, there's me, Nathan, and Ellie now as well. So Ellie's come in to head up our packaging side of things, and we're slowly but surely getting her up to latte art skills as well, which is all good. But no, she's lovely. She's sat right next to me, so I have to say that. But no, it's all good. Gone from just me 7 months ago to now being responsible for 2 other people, which is shit scary, but also a privilege as well. So
That's
good.
awesome. It's really,
Claire,
really
welcome
good.
to the pod. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good actually. I had a slow start to the year, but more because it was me just not really feeling it. I just hadn't really got into the flow of things. And as we all know, the weather has been horrific. So it hasn't really been that motivating, but then it kind of got, I'd say, mid-Jan, end of Jan, and then boom, like everything and everyone became alive again. Work was flowing in. I'm like, right, well, I've got no choice but to sort of fuck my ideas up and go. So yeah, it has been that since, probably say end of Jan. So yeah, happy days, really.
Good.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think the whole print industry is really busy at the moment. That's what I'm finding with all my customers, and we can tell by, I've said it before, all the suppliers that come in. So there's lots of ink sales at the moment. So yeah, looks pretty buoyant at the moment.
What about you, Andy? What have you been up to?
We are today completing on Nextdoor.
Hey.
Wow, amazing.
So my dad has bought the unit next door, so that gives us
Daddy.
another daddy. Long story. That gives us another 3,000 square feet. So we've been renting it whilst the purchase has been going through, but it's been going through for about 9 months, and I've constantly been saying to the team, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. It is finally today, so I'm just waiting for that call from Daddy to let us know we've done it. And then just been busy. Lots of installs. We're fully booked till mid-March now. So anyone anything urgent, we can do. Which is good. It's there's lots of customers ordering kit. Yeah.
No, there's a lot of optimism out there, isn't there? It feels good, I think.
Yeah, new employee, new business premises. Congrats, both. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Claire, do you want to just let our listeners and viewers know a bit about you, your story in print up to the current day?
Sure. So I have owned GK's Graphics since 2022. That was when it was officially incorporated. So I'm going into my 5th business year this April, which is just craziness. But prior to that, I started in a little retail high street shop called GK Motor Factors. And cast your minds back to the 90s, early 2000s, where it was like max power era. People would come and modify their cars, bung a stereo in it, massive wheels, body kits, that sort of thing. So this Motor Factors had, obviously, the Motor Factor part. It had a tiny little graphics department, and it had a cycle repair shop randomly. Anywho, I joined there just as a part-time top-up to another job. just social media board, till girl, that sort of thing. The graphics person at the time left. So the boss, it was very small, family run, maybe like 3 or 4 employees. So the boss said to me, "Do you want to do graphics?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do graphics." And then, yeah, over probably the next 4 years, I was given full sort of reins. Here's the keys to graphic department, do what you want. And I loved it. So I built it and I built it and I took it from that probably about a couple of kitchen counters lengths, and a printer behind me to like a corner of the shop and then like a third of the shop. But it still didn't have a fitting bay. It was just more prim room. So I got to the end of having probably a lot of work coming in and not being able to do as much as I wanted with it. And so I sat down with the boss and said, "I need to take GK's graphics out of here. I would like it to be my business." And he said, "Yes." So that's when I incorporated GK's graphics. I moved out into my own premises. I've now gone into an industrial estate. So I've got like fitting bay out the front. And only a small unit, about 1,000 square feet. But yes, I am now a proper sign shop. And thanks to Andy, I have a large format printer, having just been on like piddly little machines from that were about 20 years old that just come with GK motor factors along their lives. But yeah, I'd say I'm more in the signage and vehicle graphics side of things. But anything that comes with print, so whether it's banners, whether it's sort of wraps, whether it's like wall arts, health and safety signage. I could be doing a site board today, or I don't know, wrapping a photo booth tomorrow. But that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
That's incredible. What a story. Do you ever just like look around and go, wow, like this is mine now?
Yeah, and it actually takes my customers and my friends and my family to keep telling me about it. They're like, "Do you not remember? Like, do you remember where you used to be, like a tiny counter?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Because I do just have to sit and think and go, "Oh my gosh, like this is proper."
So that transition from your small format stuff to the large format printer, how was that? What was the learning curve like moving from one to the other?
So the old kit, it was, I suppose it technically still was a wide format. It was an old Roland SP 300V, so half the width of the Epson behind me. So I think the max print width was about 760mm roll. And bless him, I called him Old Man Roland because it was about 20 years old. And bless it, for its age, it was a cracking printer, but now nothing in comparison to what I know with the Epson. That I learnt on the go. I was taught sort of the bare bones of, like this is the RIP software and this is the design software and this is how you send it to one another. But at the time, I knew nothing about, print profiles or outgassing or any of the actual, dare I say, proper stuff. And so I would just dabble and a bit of sort of self-learning, and I would do the research myself. And that's how I would kind of like in increments, like bump myself up into knowing more, doing more, then needing more space, and just keep on going.
So then did you have to do the sales part of it as well? So you have to do everything from taking the client's brief, growing the business, but also like being hands-on as well.
Yeah, exactly that. So I was quite lucky in the sense that where it was a retail shop, customers would kind of walk through the door for other things. Where it was the classic customer at the time, which now I can think of nothing worse, but it would be like your bad man, who'd want a sticker immediately and they'd have nothing. So like, "Oh mate, I want a shopping list inside of my door. It needs to be black. It goes on the door, and it needs to say Sparko." And that is what I'd get.
You know, when you thought you said that you recognised Luke from somewhere?
It was that him.
That's what I was saying, giggling. It's literally me still. I was there in the 90s. I'm there in the 2020s as well.
But yeah, you're hard work. You're type, Luke. You're hard work. But no, luckily I'm very much into my cars, so I love that side of things already. So I had the will to do it. But no, it was just those sort of customers that would walk through the door, go, "Oh, what? There's like a printer there," or "What is it you do?" And they'd see me tinkering away doing X, Y, Z, and just build relationships from there, really.
So were you doing like I'm thinking like Ali G, where he's got Ali and Majuli. Were you doing the sun strips with the names in and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
they even
brilliant.
used to have on the front of the shop counter, where the graphics department was, it had some Corex boards that had cut vinyl printed onto it, and applied to it. and it had a font list. So you could pick a font and you could pick a color and you could pick a size of a generic sticker. So very sort of like eBay style novelty sticker is where the beginnings of GK Mo factors. But they did have a printer. So granted, that was probably like next level for at the time.
But to see where you've come to now with obviously your tidy workshop today, it's it's admirable, and to see how you've grown that business as well, and it is continually growing, and you are becoming well recognised. Really, your name is popping up everywhere.
I was scrolling LinkedIn, and after I can't believe I got into that magazine, quite honestly, but I did the interview, I'd forgotten about it, and it wasn't actually until Andy, I think over Christmas, sent me a WhatsApp or an email to go, "Is this you? I'm scrolling through a magazine, and I think this is your face." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, that is my face." So yeah, and just humbled by the whole thing of it, because I'm here because I love it. Obviously, we all want to make money as well, but I've just kind of kept on going, and I want to keep going. And you know, if it means getting my face out there, doing podcasts and getting in magazines, then I will 100% do it because I want to keep going with this.
But you make money because you love it, so, and that's the perfect balance.
Yeah, not always, as we all know, but
yeah,
most times.
That ties us in quite nicely. Like I say, Cedo installed the machines for you, but we actually met on LinkedIn when you put out a post saying, you know, what's my next step? What kind of printer should I get? Any recommendations on suppliers? And luckily, I got a few from these guys mainly, saying that Cedo is the one to choose. But what kind of role do you find social media plays within your kind of niche?
I think firstly, like 80% of people on that post said, "Andy, go and see Cedo, go and see Andy. I was like, I'll be talking to Andy then. For me, it's a huge part, just because I think it's all about who you know, a part of what you know, of course, but then also I feel within my world, if someone gets to know you better, and if I'm sort of posting on socials more regularly, they get to know me as a person, whether it's business related posts or not. And if they like me as a person, they're vibing with me as a person, they're more likely to do business with me. So for me, social media is quite important.
Which kind of socials you're on? Obviously LinkedIn. Any others?
Yeah, LinkedIn is where I probably aim to do a bit more what I call boring business chat, like more industry led, as to like I can talk about outgassing, or I can talk about what printer I need next, or, you know, what media is best for this job. Whereas if I put that on my other channels, which is Facebook, Instagram, my customers wouldn't care. So I do the more fun stuff of like, here's a lovely sideboard and it's advertising cake, or you know. So I do sort of more customer friendly on Facebook and Instagram, and a little bit more tongue in cheek in Facebook and Instagram. Whereas LinkedIn, I'm still me. I just try and keep it slightly more related to what I do.
What about you, Mr. LinkedIn?
Luke, I think he's talking to you.
No,
You know who he's talking to.
I know. No, for me, like it's massive in just going on from what Claire said there. It's building that trust, and before anybody picks up the phone or drops you an email, they already feel familiar with who I am and what I do and how I do it, and it kind of replaces that kind of cold calling aspect for me, which is phenomenal. I can't remember. I'd touch wood, it continues like this as well, but I very rarely have to pick up the phone and go and look for new business and, oh, have you got any jobs? Like, can I recruit for you? Because I've got a real good kind of brand and personal brand and presence and stuff, and it's real. But also it's synonymous with when you pick up the phone, they're like, oh shit, right, okay. Anyway, that's like, I can see that Matt has written that. It's not AI, it's not robotic, it's actually like personality. So for me, it's to be able to showcase who I am, what I do, and how I do it slightly differently to everybody else. And print's the same. Like, I think you could go to any printer and get the print job done. Pretty much the same. You can go to any recruiter and get, it's a systematic thing, but it's how you do it, that interaction, that customer-centric feel. And I think that starts before anybody's even ever picked up a phone to you, from your website, from your socials. So yeah, luckily for me, I then can monetize from LinkedIn and building that network and stuff like that. There was one that we had a couple of weeks ago where one of my old clients referred one of their customers to us. We got that retained. Somebody referred a candidate to us, went and met them both, and then we introduced the candidate to the client that was referred to us, like 2 referrals, and it was a decent match. So really fortunate to have a very tight network, but then from that solid basis and foundation, I've managed to entice new people in. So for me, it's continuously doing the grunt work of the cold outreach.
And how much time do you spend on LinkedIn a day? Is that your main kind of focus?
I mean, it's on in the background. I spend too much time on it in terms of just sat there at the background, but I don't sit on the news feed. I look at who's moving jobs, who's celebrating work anniversaries, and then also kind of doing the searches as well. Or I've not spoken to them in a while. I've got 22,000 people in my first degree connection, so there's always conversations to be had. Just a little flex. But then any news articles that Eye on Display might put out there, and then I can more than likely I'll know the person, or at least be connected with them. And then just to add a bit of gravitas, I read your article. It was really interesting. How's things? And it just generates so much opportunity for me. And then obviously from a candidate side of things as well. But yeah, it's my main source of activity for sure.
How about you, Jack? How are you finding, if you're doing PR for people, do they always want LinkedIn, or is it a bit of a mixture of socials?
Yeah, well, from the terms of PR, I still focus on publications, who then in turn publish their stuff onto LinkedIn, which can then be shared around. But I feel like as we get more into this, just directly PRing into LinkedIn just makes sense as well. It gives you a great platform to just say the story you want to say, and hope that then goes from that direction to other people to amplify. I did also want to just go back to what Claire did, because when you put the unique looking for a printer, and everyone kind of, that would just reminded me of that sort of Facebook village group. Oh, I'm looking for a window cleaner, and everyone kind of piles in, and you always see there's 1 or 2 that stand out. And you don't actually see that so often on LinkedIn. Haven't seen that many times. I don't know if you guys have. And I think that ability to use LinkedIn to do something very specific that you want to achieve, because it kind of worked out well for you. And obviously Matt uses it really well. I think I try to use the news element of it as best I can. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. I don't fully understand how to use the other ones that well. I'm not going to lie. Don't really understand LinkedIn.
That's how I understood LinkedIn to work, because when I was working at the GK Motor Factors, I wasn't on LinkedIn much, if at all. But it only wasn't until I started my business that I thought I'd best get LinkedIn. That's where the professionals are. So I took it as literally what you just said, of if I want to ask a question to the big wide world of print experts, that's where I ask, and in the hope that I would get, like you say, the answer of go and see Andy at Tito. So yeah, it worked perfectly. But that's how I assumed LinkedIn, what was created for.
Yeah, I think it should be, but I'm not sure it is used that. It is for I've moved jobs. I'm looking for a job. Yeah, fair enough, but not so much for equipment. I mean, Andy, you may have it be in that area, so you see it more, but I don't see it that much.
Yeah, I get dropped in occasionally. I suppose it's just your network, isn't it? If it ends up in your network and you get mentioned, one of the things I was going to say is a little bit crowded. I think there's a lot of resellers there posting out installs and this is what we're doing. And I think after a while, I think people become a little bit numb to it. They're always constantly, not necessarily pitched, but a new printer out, a new printer out, a new printer out. This can do this, this can do this. And it's almost like overload for end users to kind of wade through that to see which one is the best, why it's right for them when everyone's saying exactly the same thing. But it's a little bit like cars, I guess. There's no terrible car out there. They'll all get you from A to B. It's just that kind of bit in the middle. And that's, I suppose, it's linked back to what Matt said, the value that I need to add along the way for customers. How do you find it, Luke? Your side?
Yeah, it's standing out, isn't it? It's something that both Claire and Matt have both done very, very well on LinkedIn in very different ways. Matt is, Ooh, I'm that.
That's the music though.
But throwing different polls out there and, you know, really, really trying to capitalise on absolutely everything. Off he goes again. And then, Claire, you've got a very striking logo, and I think that's one of the things that just draws you in straight away. Like, because it's so different to your standard, I work in science, so I have to have a very clean sign logo. Yours is like quite loud, and it's there, and it's full of colour, and it's this is us, this is how we go. Yeah, I think I can see why both of you have reached the networks you're reaching. But I find that people asking machinery questions, material questions, things like that, they're usually in the bits cordoned off into different areas, like the sign and wrap chat. If you know about it, you know about it. But it's one of those areas where there's a lot of people asking about machinery questions. They're selling bits of kit, or they've got an issue with a material that's lifting on a certain application, things along those lines. Whereas LinkedIn for me is, I'm trying to strike out at professionals on there, but I'm trying to do it indirectly. And it's, how many insurance brokers do you think there are on LinkedIn? Do you know? I'm sure there's probably easily 250,000 across.
Do you think
the
there's
whole
more
of-
insurance brokers or recruiters?
Well,
It'd be
this is
close,
the
wouldn't
thing,
it?
right? Insurance brokers will post pictures of things. Recruiters generally post pictures of themselves. And now I've
Their
said
coffee.
it. Yeah, always the upside down coffee. Always with the upside down coffee. If there's one thing that Ella's going to learn, it's how to make a right the way up coffee.
Yeah, she's right-handed. And mine are always going to be upside down now.
No, it's
That's
yeah,
it.
it's those angles that people take of standing out. And obviously my cheat code, if you like, is that I come from a print background. I know what people are talking about. I talk printers language. I've got ink under my own fingernails. I've been there, I've done it. And that's what sets me apart. And it's finding those little bits that make you more relatable to the people that you're trying to reach out to. So you're going to add people from certain areas or certain businesses or certain backgrounds that you can relate to, and then it grows out from there, doesn't it?
Agreed.
So with the exception of you, Luke, we kind of work in and run small businesses. Would you find the pros and cons of running a small business? Let's go to Hanley.
Is it because I wasn't listening? I knew it was.
You've adjusted your logo above your head perfectly there, Matt. I'm going
A
to
little
say.
bit. I'm trying. There you go. You don't need to repeat the question because I was listening, actually. With the exception of Luke, well, we all run small businesses. I like the fact that I'm still involved in it, and every single decision, every single thing that we do as a business, I'm directly involved in. So I think it's having an appreciation of the bigger picture, but also in the trenches a little bit. I think in a tiny little business, you can probably pivot and control things a lot better. There's no loads of red tape and hoops to jump through. And I guess you just feel the highs and the lows a hell of a lot more. And that's for some people and it's not for others. But for me, I love that, and kind of creating that culture and being responsible for that is something that I absolutely love. Cons are obviously the lows can be devastatingly low sometimes, and when there's nobody else in that kind of senior hierarchy, perhaps, then it can be pretty lonely. And yeah, you haven't got that security blanket of a big corporate organization. But I would much rather have the autonomy and the freedom and the influence that I can do what I want, how I want to do it. I'm totally unemployable now as well. So yeah, I've just got to crack on.
How about you, Kay? 'Cause Matt obviously touched on being lonely and you're, by yourself in the company. How do you find it?
Is that for me, is it? So pretty much what Matt said. For the pros, I feel like they're pretty obvious in, like, say, no red tape. I don't have to sign off with marketing to put a social media post out, or I don't have to look at my brand guidelines because it's me, I made them. So I think the pros are quite obvious, and like I say, it's nice working for yourself. But yeah, I agree with the lows. It can be lonely, and especially like with big business decisions, you don't necessarily have anyone else in sort of like close enough in the industry to just run a quick question by because you feel silly. But for me as well, I feel like a con is that I can't hide. Not that I'd necessarily want to, but I was just thinking this morning. So I bought some blueberries for my breakfast, and they are expensive and got into them really sour, nasty. I was a little bit miffed. But do I go and complain to Tesco? No, I don't, because it's not worth my time. You can't find the contact details to email them, call them to complain about a £3 pack of blueberries. But I feel if you turn that around and a customer wasn't happy with a small part of my work or a small part of like my working practices, then they're all over it because I'm here. I'm accessible. They can come at me. They can sort of shout at me at social media, and I can't hide from it. And they really do milk it, I feel. If someone wants to complain about something tiny, they will milk it, because I can't hide behind call centres or secret email addresses. So that for me is a huge con. Not that I'm ever, trying to hide my mistakes. I openly admit to any time I need to sort of replace or think about something, but it's hard always being there.
So when you have like one of those big decisions to make, you said about because it is just you, do you have like a network around you, someone you go to help you?
My other half is a very good help, actually. He's not in the industry, but he also does own business. So it's quite nice to have another business owner chat. He also has employees, whereas I don't. So it's quite nice having a little insight into how he does things. But also, yeah, I just bother you lot on LinkedIn mostly. Obviously, if it's a very personal issue, then I probably wouldn't sort of go into like, I don't know, personal finances or anything like that. But I've got a few sort of industry contacts that I probably would just pop a little message, pop a WhatsApp to and go, so how do you do this? Or like, I'm struggling, can you help me? And so again, yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. And to a few names that I probably bother more often than not.
But you,
Well,
Jack,
you're in our network now, so this is your safety blanket. If you ever need anything, you can always just shout us.
Thank you.
how about you, Jack? Pros and cons.
Well, pros and cons. Well, business was 27 years old last week, so I'm kind of used to it now. PR over the years, I kind of work for a small number of companies for a very long time. For a long period, I kind of felt part of other companies. So while I sit here working from home generally, I used to go out and spend a lot of time at clients' offices and build a network that way. And also because part of the job is to, a bit like Matt's, really going out and making new contacts all the time, you kind of try and take the work it on your own side of it out. I've always tried to have good people working with me as well. It tends to be people that I've either know or, well, in fact, really almost entirely people I know quite well, that are in a situation where they can come and do some great things for us. And now in the last couple of years, Catherine's been working with me, which is really good news because it means when doing all these trips that seem to be happening at the moment, we can sort of extend them into something a bit more fun, although the trips themselves are fun and also you can go and do something personal. So that's a real pro, is to be able to just, okay, we're going to Vespa, go to Barcelona, but we'll stay for the weekend and make a sort of mini holiday of it. The cons, 100%, is just the responsibility doesn't stop anywhere else but right there. And there's been a couple of times over the 3 decades where things just slip away and you think, hang on, I'm not billing anyone this month. I've got to, almost starting again. It hasn't happened often, thankfully. And because you've built a network up around you, then you can build it back up again relatively quickly. But yeah, those are my pros and cons. I think I'm doing a little bit with, at the moment, with the print mastermind community. And I think that could be something, Claire, that may or not be something you'd be interested in, to have a sort of community of companies very similar to yourself that just discuss like this, but in a more sort of formal environment where you can throw questions in, get advice. It's I think it's quite a good. If I was a printer, I'd probably almost certainly do that.
Funnily enough, I think it was one of your previous podcasts I was listening to, and I think I first heard about Print Mastermind by that after probably the Colin episode.
That's the one.
Ooh, that sounds like a bit of me. I'm yet to do the digging into that, but yeah, definitely sounds like I could utilize that.
Definitely go and do it. It's a great community.
And how about you,
Cool.
Wildy? Obviously, the other side of that coin, working for a big company. What are the pros and cons?
Yeah, I mean, I come at this as a former business owner. So obviously, I've owned two businesses. One where I was just sole proprietor working for myself, and another where it was a limited business, and I left it, and that's still going well and strong. And to come into Howden, where you'd think there's loads and loads of red tape, and it's a massive corporate, and it is. And in certain areas, when there's compliance, legal, anything to do with an NDA or anything like that, I just have to go, not my bag. That needs to be dealt with by the pros over here, because if I put my name to something and it is wrong, there is going to be a massive target on my back. But the way we work on the schemes division is that you've basically got a small business, which is why you see me take so much accountability for things, and why I put my name to everything that I do, and why I try to be as forthcoming as and myself as possible. Like Matt with his posts on LinkedIn, don't use AI, don't do that block of text, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, block of text, hashtags. Everyone sees straight through it. They're gonna know that it's not you. So, and it means I can lean into my experience as well. It means I can lean into that more and move from there. But obviously, there are some things where things get caught up in a chokehold, and they don't get through as quickly as if you were just able to go, right, yes, I'll fill that form out, I'll sign it, I'll send it in. And that procurement department are going to be really happy with what they see because I've put everything to it and I know everything about it. I can't do that side of things. So when I'm being vetted as a supplier for some of the larger print businesses, it can take a little bit longer and cause a bit of delay sometimes, which I don't like.
What about you, Andy? Because like you've got the biggest business out of all of us in terms of a small business, but then you're probably putting structures and processes and policies and procedures in place where you're kind of teetering on the edge of, right, yeah, we're still small and SME and stuff, but you're probably the most
You're in betweeny.
corporate one out of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel a little bit of an in-betweener at the moment. Yeah, it's starting to grow. Looking at, or I'm looking at Lovable, which Colin mentioned on the last. I've mentioned it once or twice to you. So we're developing software now where I've got my CRM on there. I've got my engineers portal. We can do site surveys, send it from that. It all links back to the customers. So I'm trying to, while we're at 3 million, I'm trying to think about getting to that 5 million to kind of protect us for a couple of years.
Nice flex. Shit on
Yeah.
it.
It's I do enjoy working for myself. It's good. I've got that flexibility. Like tomorrow, I'm going to be leaving 2 or 3 o'clock, something like that. But then there's other times where I do stay late and have to do the extra hours, and is what it is. But I also find things like marketing. So doing something on LinkedIn to get to 1,000 people might cost you £1,000. If you're a spandex, it's a drop in the ocean. But for a company of my size, it becomes a larger cost, a proportion of my revenue. So I get a little bit frustrated with those kind of things. I want to do the marketing, but it's also sometimes a fortune to do those things, whereas the bigger companies can do that quite comfortably. And the other thing I kind of get a little bit frustrated with is that kind of wearing lots of hats at different times, doing marketing, doing something with accounts, having department heads of meetings. Then I might be trying to sell something. Then I might be sorting an issue with an install. So it's lots of different things at once, and I can't just go sales today. It's my job's a bit more varied, and sometimes I wish it was just a little bit more condensed.
Talking about marketing, Claire, just above your bun, is that your face hanging on the wall?
No. So that was some free, like from a supplier. Here, have a flag to advertise that you can make flags. So I got it, and literally, she looks like me, doesn't she?
Yeah.
But it's scary.
I thought you were doing a Matt on us. Just, hey!
She really does. Wow.
That's mad.
Is it crazy? I think another customer popped in and said the same. It's like, is that you? I'm like, no, actually, but it can
Brilliant.
be.
It should be. There's your next marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Literally flying your own flag. I like it.
Oh, wow. I quite like a cheesy sell, actually. I might have to do that.
All right, less on the cheesy.
One for you, Matt. You speak to a lot of companies who are obviously trying to grow their business by recruitment. What do you think makes a successful sign company?
I think culture massively. I think a lot of. I had this conversation actually the other day, and somebody asked me, "How do we attract somebody as a smaller kind of sign or print business? How do we attract somebody from one of the bigger businesses out there?" And it's actually just being honest with yourselves about the culture, the environment, and it's actually quite enticing for somebody to come away from the red tape and the hoops to jump through and kind of a direct access into an owner managed business. So I think culture, responsibility, accountability. I think that's really, really important to make a real successful sign business from a recruitment perspective, but also that's what your customers want as well. They want to know that if they're giving you the job and you've got the accountability, you've got the resources and the ability to get the job done, and being transparent with people. So yeah, I think that's important. I think being consultative rather than just transactional. I think if you can really get to grips and add value by quizzing and questioning your customers and going, oh, okay, well, someone asked for a similar job and what we found was the substrate needed to be this or that, or where's it going? And rather than just going, yeah, I can do that, here's your artwork, bosh, done, out the door. If you can add a little bit of value, then there's an opportunity to upsell, cross-sell, grow the margin, but also give the customers that journey and that experience to get them to come back for other stuff. So just make it as easy as possible for yourself. But accountability and the culture is massive, in my opinion.
How about you, Jack? You speak to obviously people promoting their businesses and they see the stories and you write stories that go into magazine. How do you think? Also, what do you think makes a good signage company?
Well, I think probably the most important thing is reputation. Is having a reputation for doing good work, for treating people properly, having the quality of what you do, but also owning any mistakes you might make. I mean, everything's out there at the moment. You were talking about it earlier, Claire. It's all there on LinkedIn. If you make a mistake, someone's going to put it on LinkedIn. If you do a great job, also somebody might put it on there. Now, you've got to be obviously, there's reviews and stuff that are not always entirely honest, but I think just if you're getting to know a company because you're going to work with them, that reputation is important, and the feeling you get back from them, they're sort of being people that are genuine, that look like they know what they're doing, and they're going to be sort of bend over backwards to help do what you need to do. Obviously, I don't buy signage, so I'm assuming that's it. But I mean, that's kind of where I come in for people that want to kind of get across that they're a great company and good people to work with, and they do great work. And if they can't back that up with the reality, then it's quite hard to actually promote that because you've got no material to promote it with. So there you go, reputation. Do good stuff and shout about it.
How about you, Luke?
I'm not sure I can add to either of those really. There's a lot of different niches within signs and graphics. There's so much variation in the market that it leaves you completely open to either specializing in one or becoming that well-known but well-hated one-stop shop. You kind of want to be a one-stop shop because you want clients and customers to come to you for all of their queries so that you can help them and you become that more consultative person rather than just a transactional business. However, you want to kind of specialize in something to get known for being really good at that thing, don't you? So, I mean, Claire, you're the perfect person to throw this to. You cover so many areas. You've got a flag of your own face right next to you right now. So, and you've already spoken about, you've got the vehicle fitting bay out the front. You do signage, you do graphics. What do you feel is what's your niche? What's the bit that you can really add value to someone with?
So actually, yeah, it is a very difficult part. And similar to what we said before, actually, of where pretty much any sign shop, any graphic shop could do what another shop could. Like we could all pretty much do the same. I think where I try and differ is on the like what Matt said about consulting and building a relationship and making me the difference in it all. Or even if it's not me in the future, if it's an employee, that person has to be the difference. Or, sacrificing my time. Like I've had hours conversations with customers, and in my head I'm thinking, oh good God, like this is taking a very long time. That I think if they get to know you better as, how you run your business, your morals and your ethics, all of that jazz, there's business sense in that wasted time because even if my business practices aren't consistent and they're waiting a little bit longer than they should because I'm having like a meltdown in the background or whatnot, that if they know who I am, what I'm trying to do for them, and I've always got their back, they're willing to be a little bit more flexible. So I feel like you probably could spread the offerings out a little further and try and be that one-stop shop as long as you know your customer well enough to do it.
Customers expecting more from you now than what they did perhaps 5 or 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yes. So obviously I'm quite the fresh face to this industry compared to you lot. But even
That was a bit of a dig, wasn't it?
Wow.
Gee, veterans.
Wow.
We've been called veterans before, but
Wow.
jeez.
Then, let's all leave that one.
I'm getting Botox.
Oh, man.
the pub when I'm having a wobble now out the window, right? Yeah.
A man turns 40 and gets abused.
But no, like even so, I'm coming up into my 5th year, but even in my years of owning a business, I would say the last couple of years, it's just constant. Like people expect me to be present, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, all times of the night. And whether I reply or do anything about it is obviously my prerogative. And I've got a lot better with that as to, I try and cut off my weekends now. Otherwise, I would literally be working constantly. But I find that's the biggest change recently, where customers assume and need and want me to be literally just for them at all times of day when it's not even an emergency. Like when is signage a proper emergency? Let's not lie, it's not a huge amount of times, or especially in my little world. But it's hard. It's hard to always be expected to be present.
Has yours changed much, Matt?
Not overly, to be honest. I think this is, out of all the kind of points that we're going to cover, this is probably the least one that I can add some input into, because a lot of the clients that I work with are the same ones from 5 and 10 years ago. 10 years ago, and anybody new, I can almost dictate on how we work, and I know the market, and I know the timescales, and it's just being honest about how and what I can deliver on. Yeah, not really. There's nothing that's revolutionized in the way that I go about it. Yeah, like I say, I'm just always transparent with how quickly I can deliver, what the market's like at the minute, and setting expectations really. So, yeah, not really. What about you? Has anything massively changed for you?
I think RIP software, as it's got more advanced, I think customers need a little bit more support on an ongoing basis, but also customers don't want to buy warranties for printers and RIP software as much as they used to. That used to be almost a given 10, 15 years ago. People would do that. But I think as the economy is a little bit harder these days, I think people are cutting back on those kind of almost a luxury of having a warranty. So what I do find is that they're doing rock bottom prices and they're expecting more kind of in between that. So we haven't got the profit to support them constantly, or equally they are, just, I buy inks from you, therefore you support my printer. My RIP's gone down, but I buy ink from you, so can you, log in and do that for me for free? So that's quite a hard one. That's always a constant one between kind of sales and engineering. We have quite a bit of a battle sometimes about what we should be providing, when we should stop it. I've got to keep the business running, keep the ink supplies coming through and potential sale of another printer, but the engineer's saying I'm spending a lot of time doing these things when we should be charging for it. So that's probably the biggest one. Yeah, expecting a bit more when the price is already at the lowest, because that's what the market's dictating.
Oh, interesting.
Luke?
Yeah.
Luke?
It's
He's deep in
It's
thought
a
there.
Go on.
yeah, it's a very it's a weird one for me because obviously people want to pay as little as possible, but at the same time, insurance really isn't something that you want to skimp on. Because if you need to rely on it, you need to know that it's going to be there. So, for example, coming back to you again, Claire, sorry. You're covering a lot of areas. Are you going out doing installs as well?
Easy things, yes. It's mainly vehicle graphics. I've only recently, probably in the last 6 months or so, I've now got a subby that does like proper sign fitting, like up a ladder, up a scissor lift with all his accreditations and all that jazz. So no, not now, but if I could before, I would. DIY is not my forte, so that is actually the one time I've had the business sense to go, I don't like this. I do it really slowly, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I would find someone that does it better than I can. So that's worked well.
Yeah.
Especially having done all through the process, designed it, printed it, wrapped it, ready to go out, and you like put a hole in the wrong place. Oh, God's sake, I'm going to do it again.
Too much, and even for me, like I do struggle to let go of jobs and to delegate. But even for me, I'm like I can't do it all, and I just need to learn that I cannot do it all, literally.
Yeah. So something that I've seen is that a lot of people will lose that area of cover from their insurance. But if you've got a subby going out for you and the subby isn't declared within your policy and they're flying under your banner essentially and completing a job on your behalf, they should be included within your insurance, because if something happens, it's going to come back on you completely. And there's no policy there to indemnify you from that possible claim. And the same with vehicle graphics. We see it all the time. The activity isn't defined in someone's policy, and it's not been declared that even though it's industry standard to use a blade, insurers want you to use wrap cut tape, even though it leaves a jagged edge, and it's not very good, and it ends up pulling a bit of graphic away. So it's all of those things where I'm kind of acting on the interests of the client, which mean that I can't really charge rock bottom prices, but at the same time working for Howden and Howden being Howden, we do have quite a lot of sway with the underwriters we're working with. And if a client really wants to work with me, they'll appoint me because they can see the value that I bring in having those discussions with the underwriters and ensuring all of those things are declared within those policies. So it's that kind of, it's constantly that balance, isn't it? We're doing it. That's something different, Matt. That's something your kids are walking around doing a lot at the moment, 6, 7.
Anymore, it's not cool that anymore. Apparently.
Oh, is it not? Oh, I
Nope,
thought I was
it's
down with them.
It's no, no. It's
Oh,
cringe. Stop it right now.
oh, I'll give you the ick.
Again.
But yeah, it's that balance. It's just the constant weighing up of how do I do this correctly, but how do I do it for the right price? And I think people need to stop looking at cheap, because pay peanuts, get monkeys. And it's always been the same. If you're going to pay the cheapest, you're going to pay twice. You do it with tech. If you buy something off Temu, you know it's 9 times out of 10 it's going to be crap.
Try and tell them you've got. They just have
Yeah,
to. Well, you have
I
to
know.
wait 6 months for them to come back, could you? But
I know.
you try and tell them at the time. It's painful.
Yeah, I've been there. I had the battle with business cards. I always used to use business cards as my way in, and I'd go in. One of them was Bibendum Wines. I used to do some of their print work, and I went in and I said, "I'll do your business cards, but I'm going to charge you £45 a set." Well, we're paying 22, and I went, "Yeah, this is why I'm here, because they're crap." And that got me in the door, and I got the work. I didn't go in at the 40 whatever it was. I ended up charging about £35 a set when I realised how many business cards they were paying for. But it was that key to the door essentially. That's how I started that conversation.
Jack, you've probably been in the industry the longest. What have you seen change over the last 5, 10, 20 years maybe?
Technology obviously has driven. I mean, from a marketing perspective, I'm a PR person for many, many years. It's a stream of marketing, but now it's all blurred. So particularly with social media being such a huge part of everybody's marketing, it's merged into PR, but it's a specialist skill, and there's it's one of those specialist skills that lots of people can do themselves, thereby making it loads of people in the market doing that. You must know loads of people that I'm a digital marketer. Oh, I don't know what that is. What do you mean? But that's kind of what I'm up against with other people. They're big agencies that do all that sort of thing. So, but you got to go with it. That's partly where Ion Display has come from, to be able to sort of pivot away from just purely doing PR, because people used to pay quite a lot of money for me to write things. Why would you do that these days? To a certain extent, I mean, a lot of that is done, even if okay, it's going to be better than AI, but is it several £100 better? Well, that's up to you as to what you want to do. So, as a marketer, you've got to roll with that. Within the industry, again, you're up against people that can print something onto a cushion. You never have to even see it. You just go tap, 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 and it's there. And you're up, if you're physically doing that printing, you're up against that. There was somebody on the telly this morning talking about bread and the fact that a lot of the wheat is going to go, the harvests are going to fail this year. How's that going to affect the price of bread? Well, it's not, because the bread rate, the actual cost of the wheat is hardly anything when it comes to the final price of the product. So it won't have that much effect. And that kind of feels into, even in the print industry, there's a price for things, and some of the people that are doing the actual work are just squeezed all the way down. So, which is why having your own business and being able to control that, you say, well, I'm going to charge this for business cards. That's what it's going to be. You've got to hold your nerve and see through that, because the quality of what you do will see out. So yeah, I don't know if that was a sensible answer to that question. Comfortable around it.
If you look forward for what you see as trends, what do you see print looking like in 2040?
The old crystal ball. I'll be looking at it from my room like that. Oh, young man.
According to Claire, we're not going to be in it.
Yeah, well, I'm
We'll be
definitely
long gone.
not, I'm going to say. I think, I mean, the print is dead argument has been going on. I think there was a point where it was looking a bit ropey, but I think it's definitely coming out the other side. So you kind of feel that, okay, the reputation of the industry, the quality of what it can produce, the acceptance that what is produced does need to have some sort of sustainability attached to it, is going in that direction. And people still trust things that are printed. People still need stuff to be printed, and they absolutely always will. Because I can still watching the news. Did you see the dancing robots and the? It's loads of dancing. I mean, they are doing ninja moves as part of some sort of Chinese New Moon, New Year thing. I mean, these things are incredible. Normally you see robots walking and they just kind of fall over after a bit. These guys were proper ninja. You just think, okay, well, at some point when the technology is going to have to be turned off, we're going to need print again, because it's a fundamental part of what we do. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to look. People may be able to sort of print stuff off their watch and stick it on people. I don't know, but there's definitely going to be an integral part of their lives, however it works.
How about you, Claire?
Listen,
What do you think will happen in 2040 with print?
It's got to be something AI related, hasn't it? Or printers that are smart speaker style of, hello printer, print me a flag of my face, and it will just know to load in the flag material and it will print my face. And
you're well ahead of your time.
Yeah, do it.
Like, imagine just like how technology has advanced in sort of the last 10 years. And even from me, of like going from my little Roland to the Epson, that is ridiculous. That thing that has changed my life, and that's really sad, but I don't care. Like, just the print quality of it is just ridiculous. I printed a poster of a chameleon, loads of different colour like scales, and it was just ridiculous, like so high res. Yeah, can't even describe it. But
And just for
me,
reference, who was it that sold you that printer?
it was Andy at Pseudo.
Oh, was it? No way.
Oh yeah, just some rando. But for me, I'm like, that's not even, there's now a brand new version of that. So imagine in another, when did you say, in 2040, imagine what we're going to get in that amount of time if this is what we have right now. So probably just crazy tech that can do much more automated things and voice controlled and just who knows, but it'll be crazy, I'm sure.
You're right. It is the software that's going to be the difference, isn't it? Because the printers themselves haven't changed a great deal. There's only so much ink you can push through a nozzle. So it is the software and the talking to it and that sort of thing. Absolutely right.
So in 2040, Matt, AI's taken over your job?
Nah, I think it will help. I think it will transform and streamline, but you can never replace the human interaction of stuff. It's a job in itself, so people will always need people to do it for them. So I'm all right. I'm pretty cool with that. But like in terms of the print industry, I think it'll go full circle. I think it'll be old school enough to be cool, like in the future, alongside that technology and just that whole tangible feel to it. I think 3D print will probably take off eventually. It's always kind of teetering on the edge, hasn't it? But I know that like they're now affordable and people are doing it at home, and it was on my kids' Christmas list to have a 3D printer. And I think that and hyper personalization will kind of take off in the future. But I think the kind of combination of old school, actual, tangible stuff that you can touch, and the technology will be a cool place to be.
How about you, Luke?
Yeah, the 3D printing.
Sorry.
Nick from Cube posted a little Nike
Who was that?
parka, and it just looked fantastic. And so if he started doing them with your name on your back or on the back or something like that, or football shirts or things like that, Jack would have a Brighton shirt in his moment. Matt, I can't remember who you support, some weird team.
Gravy.
Gravy.
But yeah, I think sheet-fed world, Litho Digital, they're just coming around. It's taken a real long time because printers are notorious for being terrible marketers. They're really good at printing marketing materials, and for years were no good at marketing themselves. However, that's been changed massively in the last 5-10 years. But everyone's only just coming round to the physical leads to the digital. So in the same way as club card vouchers and the QR codes, you use those as a gateway to go from that physical product, that tangible asset, to go to the digital world. I think we're going to see that coming more into the large format side, the signage side. I think we're going to see something different to QR codes, because who likes a QR code? They're bloody ugly. No one likes it. AR, for a little while, they trialed it in Argos catalogs, where you could point your phone using a certain app at an Argos catalog, and it would show like children a toy being played with or something, or how a toy works, or it would show a product demonstration. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the signage world, but it was going to be an adaptation of the QR code, or there's going to be a database or a library somewhere that you can add things to that will become that gateway to that digital world.
A bit more augmented reality.
Yeah, so using the AR side of it, but I think there's going to be some markers on some signage which are far more pretty than a QR code.
Because there's certain
AR's
stuff, isn't there? What is this going to look like in your room? If you're buying something and then you can put it like literally on your shelf. So I wonder if you could go up the front of your building and go, oh, what would that signage look like?
You did it with your glasses.
These aren't real.
Yeah, they're still beta testing those.
I think there are some technologies like that. You mentioned 3D printing, AR, that they've been around for ages, and people just use them for what they're good at. They haven't found a way of taking it off to the next level where it's everywhere. I mean, digital signs. You were supposed to sort of wipe out normal signs 10, 15 years ago, but there still are digital signs, but no one's ever really used them in the way that they thought they might. It might still come back and, there are digital billboards, but they're not everywhere. And, the ones in smaller shots, people don't really use them properly. So that'll be interesting to see if that kind of takes off more.
Yeah,
It's a football though, isn't it? Like the signage around the parameter of the pitch. They always used to be just like foam things, didn't they? And now it is digital like media.
I
But
think
they're
that
so annoying.
I read somewhere that depending on where you're watching, that actually changes. They
Yeah,
can
I
do
had.
it so you can have localized adverts.
oh, wow. What if
don't
you're
know
watching through a VPN, like my friend does?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it just sends a message to someone else then to come round, investigate.
I will tell him. I will let him know.
Yeah.
Have we got any questions from LinkedIn at all, Luke?
No, only Tim Hall saying hello, but I do have another question
Hello,
for
Tim.
you. First of all, hi Tim. But Claire, you went on a bit of a fitness journey, and it's something that has kind of been prevalent throughout our podcasts because it's something that I'm yet to start, something that Jack has started, and something that Andy has become a king of, and Matt's really active anyway. How do you liken what you do in your business to what you've done in your personal, and that battle that you took on? How would you say that they compare, or they're different, or is there a mindset that you've applied to each that you can kind of sit with each?
Good question. I think, firstly, wrong choice of conversation because I could chat about fitness a long time when we haven't got time for that.
That's why I've done it at the end.
Like, okay, we've done that part.
We learned from Andy.
Addictive. So once you're in. I think the sort of like middle ground between business and sort of like the fitness stuff is just keep going. Consistency. Just do it. So I run 4 times a week. Rain or shine, snow, cold, you name it. If it's absolutely tipping it down out there and I'm putting on my gym stuff and I go, oh, I could not. But as soon as you let that little thought in, you're not going, then you've got an excuse. And anytime it rains, which is obviously every single day of January and February, you're not going for a run. So just do it. And the same with business stuff. I'm still learning it. I definitely am not practicing what I preach all the time, but it's the whole JFDI thing. Just keep going, even when it's tough. Just keep going. And you do end up feeling better for it afterwards. So after my very cold runs in the rain or the snow, you feel amazing. And it's generally the same with business stuff. Anything scary, I torture myself about doing it. Once I've done it, I'm like, why did I even panic in the first place?
Yeah, nice. I think, Andy, you've always said, haven't you, like you never regret a workout. Like you might not want to do it, but once you've done it, like you're feeling so much better than not doing it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it as a just a way to escape pressures of work. I try not to look at my phone too much, and just enjoy the workouts, forget about everything else, just get it done. And I have to get up. Once I'm up, I'm there. It's just that kind of 5 minutes of snoozing.
Yeah.
You do that, that's it, game over. Yeah, just get up, get it done, make it a non-negotiable. And I'm enjoying it at the moment. I'm enjoying going to the gym, whereas before, so when I started, it was a little bit of a chore. But I enjoy it now. It's become part of my routine.
It's even better when you do like an angry run or an angry sesh after if you had a really crap day at work and you can just go and run it off and you do a really good time or a really good like couple of sets or whatever and you're like, yes. And it just is such good release after a bad day. And like I say, even if it's a good day, you feel good afterwards. Even if it's a bad workout, you feel good afterwards. So I'm a massive advocate for it. Do it.
Fantastic.
And you're still working out, Jack? Obviously.
Obviously. Well, I still do my 7 minutes every day.
Nice.
Every single day since that podcast with Adam, I have done something, but I haven't quite got to the it's raining, I'm going to go for a run. That's not quite happened yet.
Running in the rain is quite nice. I think.
Yeah, with my knees. No, but yeah, you're right. It should be that 5 minutes lounging around your bed does often become longer. That's the time you should just get up and do it. Anyway, one day. It's
Awesome.
harder as you're older. Luke, you need to go swimming, mate. You're a good swimmer. I've seen that.
I do need to get back swimming. I've just not found the time for it. As I was saying earlier, January, February's been insane. I'm hoping I'll get onto it in March. Who was that?
Yes.
Hello.
That was Ellie.
Hello, Ella. Yeah, I will get back in the pool. I am in the process of putting it off immediately. I'm saying next week. But next week I'm fully booked out and I'm not at home once next week. So
Apparently, it takes 3 weeks to build a habit. So you've got to do
Yeah.
whatever it is for 3 weeks, and then you're in. So
I'll do it the week
like-
after next then.
But you're right, though. It's the time. I only run for about half an hour, but then it's it's the warm up and it's the stretches afterwards, and you go home, you have to have a shower, and by the time I'm sat down with dinner, it's late. So it's a big time sacrifice. But equally, I like what it does for me, of like my mental health, and my skin is better, I'm sleeping better. So yeah, it sucks to lose that much time of my evenings or my mornings getting up crack of dawn, but it is worth it. But you just have to do it in order to see the benefits. And then you don't have to have the excuses anymore.
Fantastic. I really appreciate
Well
that.
done,
Thank you
you.
very much.
Good question there, Luke. All right, mate.
Great question. And we'll finish with which one life skill are you terrible at but wish you could actually do? Go on, Hannes.
Going for a run in the rain. No, for me, it's I just don't. I'm quite confident in most things that I would probably turn my hand to, but DIY, man. Oh no, I just cannot do it. I don't have the equipment. I don't have the tenacity to it. I don't have the interest to do it. I would much rather just pay someone to do the simplest of jobs, like put up a shelf or just. I've got no interest, but I really wish because I would save so much money and time if I did learn to do it myself. But I just can't be asked. No interest in it at all.
Jack?
I am similar to Matt. I'm hopeless at DIY, but I'm going to say design, drawing. I wish I could do it. I mean, especially with the work I do, my design skills are just awful. And I just design something. What is that? That's appalling. So it keeps other designers in business. I'd also quite like to. I'd like to be able to pot. Yeah, with that spinning pot, I'd love to be able to do that. So I'm going to have a go. But I know I'm going to be rubbish at it because I'm not patient enough. That I'd love to be able to. Anyway, there you go.
When you do your pottery, make sure you take a picture and get AI to do what's the film? Is it Ghost?
Yeah.
Ghost. Yeah.
Oh.
How about you, Claire?
I mean, pick a skill. No, probably delegating for me. I trust myself a lot, which is obviously a nice thing to have, and it's a powerful tool to have under your belt. But also, it means that whether it's home life, social life, I just can't delegate, and it doesn't help. Also, that I have about the authority of a no parking sign in a school zone. Like, if I do delegate, no one listens to me anyways. So yeah, I wish I could delegate myself a bit better, because it would free up my time to do so much more.
I'm wondering
But you,
who are you delegating to?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there was an example, like my family were arguing about like what place to go for dinner. I was like walking down the high street or whatnot, and everyone's going, "Oh, where should we go? This or this?" And I think I remember just standing up, going, "Right, we should go here." Everyone kind of looked at me, and they just continued arguing. I was like, "All right, fine." So yeah, even when I try, it just
Fair
doesn't
enough.
That's going down with a ping pong ball against the lorry. The authority of no parking sign in a school zone. It's brilliant. I love that. That's
Good
such a
shout.
good saying. We need to start a book. Just start
Yeah.
putting these quotes into a little Jam in the Print Room podcast book.
We'll do it for a
amazing.
calendar next year.
Charity calendar.
January.
Charity calendar.
February, Claire said this.
You heard it here first, and we'll have Claire's face on a feather flag.
On a banner.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
How about you, Luke?
I'd like to be able to shut up.
Hey!
I think I'm too loud. I'm too cocky. I'm too arrogant sometimes. I need to listen more sometimes. But generally, I don't know. I think I need to shush.
I wouldn't have
I'm really
any
trying
other
to
way.
shush. I'm really trying.
Just press mute.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Problem
Nice.
solved.
How about you, Ed?
Yorkshire puddings.
Oh, yeah.
I'm rubbish at them. I'm quite a decent cook, but every time I've tried Yorkshire puddings, they've turned out rubbish.
Can't
That's
make them
'cause you're
either.
southern.
Possibly, but it is pancake day, so you
Yeah,
could
it
have
is,
some spare
yeah.
batter. You could have a go tonight.
Yeah, I need to.
That crept up on us.
I need.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that can't be topped.
Terrible. I'm a sucker
Yeah.
for a
Flipping heck.
I need to get a new pan actually because our one's given up the ghost. So yeah, I need to get a pan on the way home.
They ain't going in the book.
Ah, tried so hard. Flipping heck.
Claire, thank you very much for joining us today. Is there anything else you want to add, or can people find you? How do people find you?
Obviously on LinkedIn. Luke apparently told me that I am well known now, or getting well known. But no, I'm always floating about on LinkedIn. And then if you want to just be nosy at my business stuff, it's mainly Facebook, Instagram, GK's Graphics. But yeah, pop me a little hello on LinkedIn. I will always say hello. Or if you want to pop in physically to my premises, I'm in Essex. I will always put the kettle on for anyone else to pop in. So yeah,
Good to know. I love a cup of tea.
Nice.
I think a good one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for continuing to support British Print. And we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Claire. See you later.
Thanks for joining
See
us.
you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.